Hello, and welcome to Barely Afraid.
Today we dive into some of the most jaw-dropping sightings of the legendary king of the cryptid world, Bigfoot. Crashing in from above, we open on the edge of a dense pine forest in the snowy state of Colorado. A man named Mark was walking on a local hiking trail, visiting and observing nature. Unbeknownst to him, his life would change forever. It's important to note that Mark not only knew the area well, but was also an avid videographer who frequently filmed the natural landscapes surrounding this popular spot of the forest. Mark would later recall that when hiking this forested trail, it was normal to hear strange sounds, such as heavy footsteps and noises resembling tree knocks deep within the forest. However, Mark had never seen anything. That would soon change. Going back to the day in question, Mark made his way down the nature trail, as he'd done plenty of times prior. As he made his way onto a natural rocky outcrop, he began to film the valley below. While filming, a dark figure caught Mark's eye. Looking down with more focused intent, Mark realized there wasn't just one dark figure below, there were two, and they definitely weren't human. As Mark zoomed in, he began to take in a more detailed examination in his mind of the creatures below. Zooming in for ourselves, we can see two large Sasquatch-like beings moving across the valley floor, seemingly making their way back into the forest ahead. Going to the body of the apparent Bigfoots, it's clear to notice their long, low-hanging arms, broad shoulders, and hunched postures. However, Mark would claim afterward that it wasn't the way the dark figures looked that caught him off guard. Instead, it was the way they moved across the valley floor, smoothly and consistent. Some people have even stated that this particular Bigfoot also seems to float above the ground rather than walk on it. While there is always a skeptic lined up to attempt to debunk these sightings, it seems that team believers are taking the upper hand with this particular instance. However, we aren't the ones to judge. That choice is up to you. Is this two Bigfoot walking through a Colorado valley? Or is this something else? Something more human? Only you can be the judge. Storming in, we arrive at a trail cam in the tail end of 2025, where a deer has unknowingly assisted in the recording of a Bigfoot-like creature. Going to the beginning, we can see the deer come into focus as it appears to graze. However, it's the background that has Bigfoot enthusiasts excited. Looking just beyond the deer, we can see a large hairy being standing just out of the small animal's view. At first, it seems to stand still, which caused many people online to call it a hoax. But if you look closely at this frame, we can see the beast move ever so slightly. Rather than immediately validating the sighting, this caused even more uproar in a spirited debate as a grand debacle began. For the believers of the world, they point out the appearance of the being, large in stature and dark brownish hair, mixed with the fact it seems to have a natural camouflage, gave fuel to the fire of belief. Doubling down further, believers point out that the wood in front of the being seems to resemble a makeshift shelter put together by sticks and vines. This is something we have seen before while investigating Bigfoot. It not only hints at their existence, but confirms something, or someone, is living in the forests. However, this point alone might be something that actually allows the skeptics to turn the tide. As this point was highlighted, many people online who don't believe in our furry friend labeled this as a simple misidentification of a hunter in a ghillie suit that is doing their best to hide behind a makeshift deer blind. Mixed with the location of the trail camera, skeptics online did their best to contain their excitement, as they also point out this could simply be a hunter trying to catch his kill on camera. Another point other skeptics have highlighted is that of the deer. And why don't they seem to notice the large being lurking just behind them? To this we open the floor for speculation from you. Is this just a hunter in a ghillie suit? Or is this a different type of hunter altogether? One that more closely echoes the songs of legend? One that walked all the previous versions of the Earths? One that can sneak up on a deer and remain hidden even with the world's best technology? Again, we offer up the decision to you. Falling in from above, we arrive back into another open field, where a man has seized the opportunity to film something out of the ordinary. Originally uploaded back in 2025 by a popular YouTube channel called How to Hunt, the video starts with multiple dark figures crossing over a damp grassland area. As the video continues, the camera swings back continuously from the group of Bigfoot-like beings to what appears to be smaller Bigfoot running to rejoin the group. This video sparked enormous debate in the Bigfoot community. While most Bigfoot sightings usually depict one long Bigfoot, this man happened to capture a family of Bigfoot right out in the open on this cold day. Zooming in, we can see hunched body figures and long arms, not to mention the quite obvious dark fur of the creature. This frame here highlights just how long the creature's arms are, which, if you are new to Bigfoot, is a common trait to our big furry friends. Going back to the smaller figures that run to join the group, many people point out just how effortlessly the thought-to-be Bigfoot child traverses the damp grassland. Zooming in once again, the speed and smoothness of the small Sasquatch is uncanny. As it makes its way over, we can see the bigger Bigfoot seem to guide the small family to continuously make its way over the open field. It's important to remember that while Bigfoot is usually given the characteristic of being a lonely protector, they are also known to be beings that have families. It's believed that a Bigfoot family would typically be a small knit group of 4 to 5 Bigfoot, usually consisting of 1 or 2 adults and 2 to 3 juveniles. Rather than forming a huge group or civilization, this is how Bigfoot families are thought to travel. This helps them avoid detection from humans, and also allows them to blend in easier to the natural surrounding of their environments. Not only does this add credibility to the sighting, but an added layer of wonder and amazement. After all, not all Bigfoot sightings are created equally. To some people, 5 Bigfoot equals 5 more times the proof that this is an actual real sighting. To others, 5 Bigfoot equals 5 more times the hoax. Instead of deciding for ourselves, we leave the conclusion in your hands. Comment down below what you think. Before going into the next sighting, we'd like to remind everyone that if you have any cryptid sightings, we'd love to hear and see them. Feel free to send them in at bearlyafraid@gmail.com. Also check out our brand new store and website. Find out why Bigfoot is always blurry, and pick up a new shirt from our new I Believe collection. Every view, like, and purchase helps the channel and allows us to keep bringing you the best cryptid sightings out there. Thank you again for being a part of our Barely Afraid family. Soaring in, we emerge in an open field where a Bigfoot-like creature seems to be on a casual nature walk through a wooded area. As it makes its way through the brush and dense grass, we can see just how calm the large creature appears to be. Zooming in, we can see thick dark hair and a hunched posture accompanied by long arms. While we can't accurately measure the creature's height, we can safely say that all the other physical attributes are widely attributed to Bigfoot. Right out of the gate, the skeptics of the Bigfoot world began to claim AI or a man in a suit. With no real claim to authenticity, the believers had to rally fast, and they just may have done enough to give this alleged Bigfoot sighting the hope it needed. It's quite apparent how blurry and shaky this footage is, and to believers this is the strongest point of debate. I mean, if you were walking in the woods all alone, and just happened to stumble upon a Bigfoot that had the same idea, wouldn't you naturally be a little afraid? Most AI generations of Bigfoot are clear and steady, not shaky and blurry. This topic of debate not only failed to shed some light on the integrity of this sighting, but rather it pushed us down the rabbit hole even further. It's long been joked that Bigfoot and Sasquatch creatures are naturally blurry beings, since nobody ever seems to capture a clear and up-close photo or video. There are many that credit this to the interdimensional being theory, while others just claim it's the fact that people are faking the beloved cryptid's existence. We've talked about the interdimensional being theory many times on the channel, but if you don't know, the interdimensional being theory is the theory that Bigfoot, as well as many other cryptids, are just interdimensional beings from another dimension. This explains how one moment you're able to see a Bigfoot, and the next moment they're gone. Another point of debate the believers presented was, of course, the location. From what we could uncover, it is believed that this Bigfoot was filmed in none other than the great state New York. While most people usually associate New York with the city and the busy hustle and bustle of crowded streets and cars, New York is actually one of the top Bigfoot hotspots in all of North America, and hosts very abundant countryside, forests, and mountainous regions. With hundreds of sightings reported every year, It's not such a far-fetched idea to state that this New York sighting just so happened to be caught on camera. Mixing the location of New York with the appearance of this supposed Sasquatch and the shakiness of the camera, many Bigfoot lovers around the world are excited. However, whether this is real or an elaborate hoax is up to you. Is this an actual Bigfoot that needed to escape the crazy city life of New York? Or is this another made-up hoax dreamt up in an attempt to debunk Bigfoot once and for all? You tell me. Settling in, we travel back in time to the year 2024 and arrive once again in British Columbia, Canada, at perhaps one of the most debated Bigfoot photos in the recent years, and our most controversial clip of the evening. To set the scene, we take you to the wilderness of Vancouver Island. A woman has elected to go for a nature excursion on a beautiful sunny day. As she walks through the breathtaking scenery, she begins to make her way up a hill. Adjusting her attention to the top of the natural landscape, she locks eyes with a large, hairy humanoid that is staring down at her. Immediately caught off guard, she holds the creature's gaze for a few moments before carefully and quickly whipping out her phone to snap this photo. As soon as the camera shutter snaps, the being turns around and hastily makes its way out of view on the other side of the hill. With adrenaline in her veins, the woman composes herself and then swiftly makes her way back to civilization. Once back in the safety of urban life, the woman posted her newly captured Bigfoot photo to a hiking group on Facebook. In the following months and years, this photo would receive great amounts of speculation and backlash, as the supposed Bigfoot's face was criticized and concluded to be nothing more than a cheaply modified mask. Skeptics point out that the close-up frame in itself is more than enough to elect this Bigfoot a poorly done hoax. They highlight the deep dark eye sockets that seem to exhibit no eyeball, along with the high cheekbones and the too close to human nose. It seemed like this Bigfoot sighting would be deemed a fake and join many of the Bigfoot hoaxes done every year. That was, until a believer online highlighted the most compelling point of the whole sighting. That point being the location of the encounter, Vancouver Island. Vancouver Island is a small island just outside of British Columbia, Canada. As many of you know, Canada is one of the biggest Bigfoot hotspots in the world, especially British Columbia, which has been deemed the biggest Bigfoot hotspot in Canada itself. With the rich ecosystems, hard-to-reach rugged terrain, and all the multiple sightings dating back all the way to the 1800s. Bigfoot is believed to thrive in the friendly country. As a matter of fact, the first ever credited journal entry of Bigfoot took place in Canada. In 1811, a fur trader named David Thompson was traveling through the Rocky Mountains near present-day Jasper, Alberta, with a group of surveyors. As he traversed the deep snow, he came across a fresh pair of footprints that made him stop dead in his tracks. This is what he wrote. "I saw the track of a large animal. Has 4 large toes about 3 or 4 inches long. The hole is about 14 inches long by 8 inches wide, walking from north to south. We did not attempt to follow." Thompson himself was a very experienced outdoorsman and described these tracks as too big to be a set of bear tracks. The indigenous guides that were present that day told Thompson and his group of a large animal that was sometimes seen in the woods. Of course, the term Bigfoot was never used to describe this journal entry, but that's simply because the term Bigfoot wasn't coined until the mid-1900s. With so many Bigfoot sightings reported every year, and with so many of them being debunked, it really adds the weight of speculation to our beloved furry friend. However, we only offer up to you the decision on one of those sightings now. Is this sighting nothing more than a man in a cheap Bigfoot costume that wanted to give the hiker a quick scare? Was the hiker the one who orchestrated the whole entire thing? Or could this have actually been a sighting of the elusive cryptid we know as Bigfoot? Whether you believe or not, one thing is for certain. Something is in the Canadian wilderness. What it is, well, that deliberation is up to you. If you enjoyed tonight's countdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Have a creepy clip or ghost encounter of your own? Drop it in the comments or send it to our email that just might appear in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your lights on tonight. You never know what might be standing in the dark.